All right, everybody, we are back with one last segment for the day. This is Mary.
And I'm Mason, and we're actually going to answer some frequently asked questions. That's what it stands for, FAQ. I forgot for a minute. FAQs that we get while giving tours. So,
Yeah.
one question that we have is, do you have to live on campus for your first year? No, not at all. You don't have to.
No.
If you want to commute, you can commute. If you want to live on campus, great. More power to you.
And honestly, you can choose to live on campus or like not live on campus whenever you want.
Yeah.
I know one of our mutual friends, Chelsea, her first semester, she was a commuter, and then she was like, you know what, I want to live on campus. So second semester, first year, she opted to live on campus, and she's been here ever since.
Yeah.
And I lived on campus my first 2 years. Now I commute from home. So it's kind of one of those things where you want to live on campus the entire 4 years, you can. If you don't want to start off living on campus and then do it later, you can. Like, there's just lots of opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, Zach did it, George did it.
Oh, yeah.
Zach lives in the room behind me now. Yeah, it's a great experience, but if you're commuting, you're really not missing out on too much. Yeah, we can get into it later though. Can first years have a car on campus?
This gets tricky, right? Because if you're a first year resident student, you can't have a car on campus.
Unless you have a sport that practices off campus. So like bowling, baseball.
Or like if you have any medical reason that you need to travel to like doctor's appointments off
Job.
have a job off campus. But for that, you still actually need to fill out a request and like some paperwork to even have that allowance, which is kind of weird. I mean, I did it my first year because I worked off campus, so it's not that bad of a process. But if you're a first year resident student, typically you're not allowed to have your car on campus. Your second year, you can bring your car on campus, and that's fine. But just your first year as a resident, you can't. Commuters, obviously, you need your car.
Yeah.
So you can have your car on campus the entire time. But I don't think my first year I did have my car, but I mean, we had a shuttle service that I used every once in a while.
Yeah, I didn't have my car and it was totally fine. If I really needed one, like I had some close friends that I could borrow their car.
That's also the nice part is like most people who do have a car that you've become friends with are more than willing to just like take you wherever you need to go if you really need to. Or like I said, we have that shuttle service that we used to have that went literally to like downtown Elmhurst. It went to the Whole Foods and
the mall
area. But yeah, it went to the malls. And that was like a hourly kind of deal. So like that was always available too. So there's options, even if you really don't have a car on campus your first year as a resident.
And honestly, a lot of our campus, I mean, actually all of our campus is walkable, but you can get to the train station and downtown Elmhurst within, I think, 5 to 8 minutes by walking. I do it all the time and I still have a car on campus. It's kind of fun, especially when it's nice out.
Nice outside. It's definitely just easier to walk.
Yeah, exactly. And then how much are the parking passes? Do you know?
Well, they've changed because of COVID. There was a reduction in price due to COVID.
I think usually there's 75 for commuter and 150 for resident a semester.
I think it was just 100 for the semester.
Yeah, this semester, yes, but usually.
Oh.
Yeah, I really don't know. That's definitely subject to change now.
Yeah, it's changed obviously as of right now. So my brain is not fully equipped.
Yeah. Are you looking it up?
Of course I am.
Nice.
Oh, no, I was right. It's $50 for commuter students and $100 for resident students.
Even better. Nice. Yeah, it's actually really cheap, especially if you look at other schools. I know a lot of other schools, like there's some schools that charge like $1,000, which is crazy. It's ludicrous. Luda. Yeah, right. So Mary, I'll ask you this first and then I'll chime in with what I think. What's it like living on campus?
I enjoyed my 2 years living on campus. Obviously, I had communal bathrooms both years. I never experienced a private bathroom situation. And that's always going to be a culture shock when you have to share a bathroom with like 20 other girls. But it wasn't bad. Like honestly, I don't have many horror stories from those bathrooms. But that's probably like the biggest shock. I like living on campus. I like being around all my friends and peers. I like how easy it is to get from one building to the other. And like, it's always nice to be that close to where you need to be, especially if you have morning classes.
Yeah, I've always lived on campus, so I really don't know how it is to campus versus res hall. But I gotta say, like right now, I'm in a house with 3 other people. Super fun. I get to cook my own food, which I enjoy. And then we obviously have our own bathroom in the house because it's a house. But yeah, it's pretty fun. I loved living in Stanger my first year. That was really fun.
Sanger's a fun place.
It's really easy to build community in residence halls.
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
always leave my door open if I'm like just studying or chilling. People would just walk in, we'd hang out for a little bit, study together.
And I feel like that's an unwritten rule of the residence hall. It's like
Oh
people
yeah,
like understand that. Like if you leave your door open, like people will just like walk in, like what's going on? You want to grab dinner? You want to go to this event? But then like if you close your door, like they'll knock and like see if you're there or if you're busy. Like it's this weird thing that we just know, you know?
yeah. I guess I never thought about it that way, but it's kind of funny. Um, I know like last year in West, I also lived in West my sophomore year. Um, that was more apartment style living, so I was nervous about like the community aspect and like keeping up with like friends and all that stuff. Because Stanger, it's easy; it's a giant circle. West is a bit harder because it has like floors and elevators and like all this other stuff. But it was actually easier in West because we had like it was kind of our own apartment minus a kitchen. So we had like living room. So you weren't like you weren't hanging out in someone's bedroom. It was separate bedrooms and living rooms, which is kind of nice. Let's see. Yeah, I guess since we're on the topic, how are residence halls? That's another common one we get. You don't actually have to take our word for it at all. You can see for yourself. We actually have 360 tours on YouTube. So if you search up, I think Elmhurst College or Elmhurst University residence hall tour, you'll find all of our buildings on there.
Yeah.
They're honest. We don't like do any rooms up for it. They're actually really honest with it. So what you see is kind of what you get. I think they're pretty nice. I've had the opportunity to live in some of the nicer ones. So I guess I'm skewed on that note, but I do really think it's fun. I've been in a lot of the other ones. Actually, I think I've been in every residence hall so far. But yeah, always a fun time. Definitely love it. And let's see, the food, I guess, is another common one that we get on tours.
Somebody always asks me how our food is because, you know, some universities, not naming names, but they have kind of sketchy food. I'm not going to lie. They do. So I feel kind of grateful that our food is a little bit better, at least in my opinion. Like I think it's pretty decent. We have pretty good variety. I mean, some like if you go down to our roost in our basement, that always has like the same type of food. So it's always gonna have like your delicious like wings and like pizza and like quesadillas. But like in our regular calf, we have what we call like calf potle, which is like our version of Chipotle, and that's honestly really good.
It's
like
pretty solid.
Love when we have that. So I think the food's pretty good.
My favorite thing before COVID was Fried Food Fridays. We had like fried ravioli, mozzarella sticks, macaroni and cheese bites that were awesome. I remember me and Josh, like me and like 8 other people would like just swarm there and just pick up whatever we could because it was so good. We had Mr. Louis himself, Pasta Man.
Oh yes, he was so sweet. Love him.
Yeah, he was great. We had a solid sandwich station that's pretty good. Actually, before COVID, we had like milk dispensers. It sounds really gross. That's the best way I can describe it. But such good chocolate milk.
Yeah.
My Lord, it was so good. I literally, so I ran track my sophomore year because you can do walk-on sports. You just got to talk to the coach and do whatever. Never ran track before, but after every single practice, I'd go and get 2 large cups of this chocolate milk. It hit so good every single time. It was amazing. Like it was just a perfect thickness. It was cold. It was ice cold, not thickness. It was a perfect viscosity. Thickness sounds gross. Ice cold, amazing milk. We also have cereal bar, which is kind of nice.
God.
Yeah, Mary's cracking up over there.
I'm sorry. It is that word.
Anyone that's had the chocolate milk though, they know what I'm talking about.
They know.
Like it is infectious how good it is.
I'm sorry. I'm dairy free. I can't do that.
I know, sad.
Moving on to our next kind of area of questioning about commuter life. Probably one of the most frequently asked questions we get about being a commuter is it easy for commuters to get involved? And I'd say yes. I think it is for commuters as long as they're willing to put in the time to be on campus. So I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. And a lot of the times, like friends that live on campus, like they'll hang out with, like, they'll invite you to their room. You can hang out there. You don't have to hang out in your car or in Founders or the commuter lounge all day long. You kind of just chill wherever. I know one of our friends like hangs out here all the time. He's just chilling. You know, he's here when we're not, and we're fine with it.
No, yeah, and even though that I'm a commuter for my last 2 years instead of my first years, I mean, it's still difficult for me to commute back and forth, but I'm still as involved as ever. I haven't had to drop anything because of my commuter situation, and part of me still wishes I had time to get more involved, but obviously I can't because I'm done after this year. But I think it is easy for commuters. And obviously, since there's so many things that you can do, you get so many reminders about it, there's tons of opportunities for everybody to get involved.
Yeah, I agree. I can't really talk to how easy it is, but I know friends that I have that are commuters have a really easy time doing it, and they enjoy it. It's a good time.
Yeah.
Is parking easy for commuters?
So parking is a fun question to talk about. Right now, it's super easy.
I love parking on campus.
Right now, it's super duper easy. Before COVID, it just kind of depended on what time you got here. If you got here early in the morning, I mean, most of the time you'd be able to find a spot. But if you got here more towards the afternoon, you might be struggling for a few minutes trying to find a spot.
It's like a concert.
Yeah, because like we are a heavily commuter school. So most of our students commute instead of live on campus. So there was always a ton of cars on this campus. I mean, our school, we are expanding one of our parking lots apparently, so to create more parking spots. So we're trying to help any difficulties people have when it comes to parking on campus. But I mean, truthfully, there may be some difficulties finding a spot depending on when you come on campus.
Yeah, and there's always spots. It's just you have to find them. There's some like tucked away, like there's like a four spots tucked away inside of not inside, but like surrounded by a building.
You have to have eagle eyes. Gotta keep your eyes open.
Eyes open, guys. Another question: where do commuters hang out on campus? So I know at least newly we had this commuter lounge put in. Obviously, you're not just limited to the commuter lounge to hang out, but it's a great place for commuters just to hang out. If you want to bring your own lunch and not spend money on campus food, we have refrigerators, lockers, anything that you really could need, TVs, microwaves. I think that's pretty much all you really need.
Yeah. All in all, commuters can hang out wherever they want.
Yeah, library, Founders Lounge.
You're not stuck in the commuter lounge, obviously. That's just extra space for you to have those lockers and fridges and stuff. But I think everybody just hangs out in Founders, whether commuter or resident, because that's where everybody just likes to gather and see what's going on.
Yeah, agreed. What's next?
Next, we shall move on to some questions about classes that we get and professors. One is, what has been our favorite class on campus?
Ooh, mine definitely American Sign Language. Really cool class. I actually loved it. I talked about this in the last segment, but I used it today actually. Very useful. I took it for a year, so I'm not actually like fluent or anything like that, but I can definitely get by in a conversation.
Hey.
And it has nothing to do with my major, which I thought it was cool to take in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. I don't know if I can choose my favorite class because I've had so many great classes. Like I've taken all my social work classes and I love them because I love our professor. I love all of the psych classes I've taken. Like my capstone is about the supernatural and learning about like the psychology behind believing in it, and it's so cool. So I don't know if I can pick. So let's just move on.
How do you like your professors? I actually really like my professors. Perks of a small school is that you can kind of get to know your professors as much as you want. Classes, I mean, we've talked about this before, but classes range from 15 to 25. I have a class right now that's 6 people, very discussion based. It's called digital forensics, so odds are you won't take it, unless you're cybersecurity or whatever major that might take it. But super cool class. I know a lot of majors have those smaller classes too, once you climb higher in your specialty or major. But yeah, it's really fun. All the professors are really nice. I've never had like a really bad encounter.
Oh no.
They'll check up on you if they know that you've missed class like 3 or 4 times. They'll be like, hey, like, is everything okay? Like, what's wrong? What can I do to help? Like, do you want to meet after class, office hours? Or do you just need someone to like vent to, talk to? I know one of my professors helped me get into that shed thing. They wrote me a letter of recommendation, which was not necessary, but it definitely helped my application for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. They're super easy to talk to. I enjoy it.
Oh yeah, they're all really great. I mean, of course you'll get biased for your major professors. Like I always say the psych professors are the best on this campus because I've known them for 4 years. But they're all amazing. I've mentioned this before, they're all highly intelligent. Sometimes it's absolutely crazy how intelligent they are. But just getting to know them as people is so nice to see, because you're not just seeing the teacher side of them, you're seeing the actual person side of them that cares about you as a student, and it's so nice to know that.
It is. I remember one time, actually not one time, multiple times, but this specific time, I was really just struggling with CS. I was taking 2 really hard classes at the same time. It was operating systems and discrete mathematics too. Super hard classes, cool classes. I loved the content, but it was just a lot to keep up with. And I think I had like 2 exams and like a project due that week. So it was just a really bad week. And my professor sat me down and he's like, hey, like, you're doing great. Like, I really believe in you. I know you can do it. And I know you just need to hear that and you'll be okay. Like, just keep pushing. You'll be fine. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
And it was really nice to hear. I still think about it, like, a lot.
That's kind of cute.
It's like, I don't know why, but like, you specifically, I want you to like succeed and be good and like do all these cool things. Like, I just know you can do it. Like, you have it in your heart. And I'm like, let's go. Like, that was such a good motivation to finish the semester strong.
Yeah. See, I don't want to think about it because I might get upset because I'm gonna miss them so much when I leave.
I know. I really hope to keep in contact.
I know. And that's the best part. It's not weird when you get to this age, because like at high school, like you're like, oh, you don't want to be friends with your professors or your teachers. But here I'm like, yeah, let me be friends with them. You know, It's a great time.
I remember one time I emailed one at like 4 a.m. to ask about a project.
I had that before. Yes, I love that.
Yeah, and they emailed back in like 5 minutes. And I'm like, dude, you should be asleep. And he's like, so should you. I'm like, well, I'm working on your project. So yeah. But yeah, great encounters all around.
Oh, totally. So yeah, I believe that would be the last question that we'll be answering today. That is the last segment we have for you all who are listening. Thank you very, very, very much for tuning in to this little special version of our podcast that we typically do. You can always go on our Instagram, Elmhurst Admission Instagram page, or the Elmhurst University YouTube to watch our full episodes of our podcast if you're interested in listening to us cover topics in full detail, not just little tidbits like we are right now. But thank you very much for listening to us. We hope you enjoy your day, and we hope you tune in again to listen to us talk about Elmhurst University.
Yeah, have a really good one. Thank you. See you next time.